the Vedas, the 4 Vedas, Chatur Veda, Rig Ved, Sam Ved, Yajur Ved,
Atharvaved, yeah.
Athar Ved. So when he wrote these 4 Vedas, he made arrangement for the people in general so that they can execute a progressive life in this age of Kali, which is full of darkness. So because he knew that, in Kali Yuga, people are going to be very much materialistic, only interested in matter, which is very true. We can all, I don't know about all of you, but I know myself that I have more attraction towards matter than towards Krishna. So, which is temporary. So, because of this ignorance, they're not going to be able to understand spiritual life. So, actually, in subsequent verses, we will learn that actually this was very disturbing for Vyasdev, that he wrote these 4 Vedas here, and he was still feeling, despite writing, everything for the people of the age of Kali, he was still not satisfied. He still felt like, he had not glorified Krishna when he wrote the 4 Vedas. Then his Guru Maharaj, Narad Muni, comes and he actually tells him, there's an interesting conversation. We will actually go through it soon. It is in this chapter itself. So, and he tells him to write Bhagavatam actually. So we can actually keep moving if everyone agrees. So we can get to the good.
Yeah, sure, Mataji.
Unless someone wants to share some important points, we can do that and then move on.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Can I share something?
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
So, a few things that I realized from this purport when Prabhupada mentions that he actually addresses the underlying problem of people like me who in the age of Kali. Prabhupada says people in general in this age of Kali are too much interested in matter, which is temporary. So there is an aphorism in the Vedas that says Athato Brahma Jigyasa, which means that now that you have a human birth, Athato Brahma, Brahman means spiritual. Jigyasa means inquire about that. So Prabhupada always used to raise this point that, there are so many colleges, so many universities in this world, in different countries. But where is the university which teaches about spirit? All the universities and colleges are fully engrossed in teaching people about matter and material things. So that is one thing Prabhupada used to say. The other thing I remembered is what Radhanath Maharaj said, a very, very beautiful quote. He says that things are meant to be used and people are meant to be loved. But the problem in today's world are people are used and things are loved. Which, just have to highlight this basically. It says that people are more interested in material things than the spirit or the Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, that is very true. Thank you for sharing. Any other points? Anybody else wants to share also?
Maybe this point is already covered, but I just wanted to share here the future anomaly which Vyasdev is seeing is because he's, he can see past, present, and future. He can see Kali Yuga is coming, and there are a lot of signs and anomaly or how people will be acting. So he's kind of concerned, and like Anand Kishori nicely explained, she's feeling how he can help, and then conversation between Narad Muni and Vyasdev will come. That's what I wanted to share. Thank you, Chaitanya Prabhu and Kishore Fisher.
Okay, I guess we'll move on. We'll get to the good part soon. Any volunteers for 17 and 18?
I can try, Mataji.
Yes, ma'am.
And please read if I'm reading it not correctly. 1.4, 17, 18. Bhautika cha bhavanam.
Bhautikam cha bhavana.
Shakti hrasam cha tat kritam
Shakti-rasam-shatat-kritam
ashraddha ashraddhanan ashraddhananihasattvan
Ashraddhanam-nisatvam
Nishadvam
durmedhan hir- du- durmedhan hitam sorry durmedhan hrashita I don't know, can't pronounce it.
Durmedhan
Medha
Hrisayusa
Okay. Durbhagyashcham cha janam vikshya
Durbhagam janam vikshya
munir divyena chakshusha
Munirdevyena chakshusha
sarva varnashra mam yad
Sarvavarnashranam yadya
dadayu hitam amoghadrik.
Dadyahitam
Sorry for reading some words incorrectly.
No problem.
Translation. The great sage, who was fully equipped with knowledge, could see through his transcendental vision the deterioration of everything material due to the influence of the age. He could also see that the faithless people in general would be reduced in duration of life and would be impatient due to lack of goodness. Thus, he contemplated for the welfare of men in all statuses and orders of life. Purport. The unmanifested forces of time are so powerful that they reduce all matter to oblivion in due course. In Kali Yuga, the latest millennium of a round of 4 millenniums, the power of all material objects deteriorates by the influence of time. In this age, the duration of the material body of the people in general is much reduced, and so is the memory. The action of matter has also not so much incentive. The land does not produce food grains in the same proportions as it did in other ages. The cow does not give as much milk as it used to give formerly. The production of vegetables and fruits is less than before. As such, all living beings, both men and animals, do not have sumptuous, nourishing food. Due to a want of so many necessities of life, naturally the duration of life is reduced. The memory is short, intelligence is meager, mutual dealings are full of hypocrisy, and so on. So here they are describing and comparing the Kali Yuga with the other yugas and telling how the things are nowadays, and memory I can very much relate to, and other things as well, but memory for sure. And they are saying that everything is deteriorates by the influence of time. Okay. The great sage Vyasadeva could see this by transcendental vision. As an astrologer can see the future fate of a man, or an astronomer can foretell the solar and lunar eclipse, those liberated souls who can see through the scriptures can foretell the future of all mankind. They can see this due to their sharp vision of spiritual attainment. Should I continue, Aditi?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Sorry. And all such transcendentalists who are naturally devotees of the Lord are always eager to render welfare service to the people in general. They are the real friends of the people in general, not the so-called public leaders who are unable to see what is going to happen 5 minutes ahead. In this age, the people in general, as well as their so-called leaders, are all unlucky fellows, faithless in spiritual knowledge and influenced by the age of Kali. They are always disturbed by various diseases. For example, in the present age, there are so many TB patients and TB hospitals. But formerly, this was not so because the time was not so unfavorable. The unfortunate men of this age are always reluctant to give a reception to the transcendentalists who are representatives of Srila Vyasadeva, and selfless workers always busy in planning something which may help everyone in all statuses and orders in life. The the greatest philanthropists are those transcendentalists who represent the mission of Vyasa, Narada, Madhava, Chaitanya, Rupa, Saraswati, etc. They are all one and the same. The personalities may be different, but the aim of the mission is one and the same, namely to deliver the fallen souls back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Do you want to share something and enlighten us?
Mataji, I just, all I can say here, they are, telling about how Kali Yuga is, how people are in Kali Yuga, and how things are decreasing, and people are not having proper some just nourishing food, and so many diseases, so many hospitals. And I think I remember Moglila Prabhu's one interview where he was saying कि बहुत हॉस्पिटल्स हैं बहुत डिजीजेस के लिए, इसीलिए लोगों को इतनी और बहुत लोगों को इतनी मेंटल इश्यूज हैं, तो जो इस्कॉन के टेम्पल्स हैं वो स्पिरिचुअल हॉस्पिटल्स हैं, जहाँ आके आप अपनी जो मेन रूट कॉज है उसको ट्रीट कर सकते हो, क्योंकि अगर आपका माइंड ही फ्रेश नहीं है और आपके थॉट्स ही अच्छे नहीं हैं, तो वो सारी चीजें आपके एक्शंस में और आपके कल्चर में रिफ्लेक्ट होती हैं. सो इट इज सो इम्पोर्टेंट टू हैव दिस स्पिरिचुअल टेम्पल्स. और ये क्वेश्चन किसी ने पूछा था that why do you have such big temples, why they are so decorated, and you use this material to make the temples so beautiful. तब प्रभु जी ने ये बात कही थी कि आप हॉस्पिटल्स को इतना वेल इक्विप बनाते हो, पहले से ही प्रिपेयर करके रखते हो, ऐसा भी होना चाहिए, ऐसा भी होना चाहिए. सो व्हाई कांट वी हैव these big temples, and when people are donating and then we can make these big temples, these are actually spiritual hospitals where people can be treated. So they should be beautiful because God lives there. So इससे एक तो मुझे वो याद आ रहा है. और यहाँ पे अभी recent leaders के बारे में बात करने की, कैसे they are not at all spiritual and they are more so material कि उनको 5 minutes पहले भी क्या होना है, क्या होगा, they don't know. And I can very much relate this अभी in India, or I think US also, and other countries also, we have this coronavirus. But in India, if you see the Delhi and other places where they say that too much corona, they're having this curfew and not letting people go to temples and dharmstans and shopping as well. But if you see the election, where election is going on, people are going doing rallies, and so many people are there for elections. So yes, they are not concerned, they are only concerned with their benefits and what goes good with them. And here, Mataji, I really want you to just explain this, that the great philanthropists are those transcendentalists who represent the mission of Vyasadeva. So I think here they are talking about the devotees, or the people, those who are carrying this mission out of Vyasadeva, Narada, Madhava, Chaitanya, Rupa, Saraswati, etc. So they are different, their philosophies can be different, or what they are trying to say, Mataji, here? Because if they are same and their personalities may be different, but their philosophy is same. Is that, Mataji, they're trying to say here? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for sharing, Mataji. Nice points. I actually have a few just want to few points actually from this shloka. But before I start, anybody else wants to share anything to answer Mataji's question? I can share a few points.
Comment
Yes.
if nobody else has anything to share. So
Okay.
about this specific point which Mataji asked, the greatest philanthropists are those transcendentalists who represent the mission of Vyasdev, Narad, Madhva, Chaitanya, Rup, Saraswati, etc. They are all one and the same. The personalities may be different, but the aim of the mission is one and the same, namely to deliver the fallen souls back home, back to Godhead. So philanthropy, generally, we use the word for doing good to others in the material sense. But if we just take that doing good to other kind of a thing and understand what is the real good for other people, is not material, actually it's spiritual. And like the example is given analogy that a child who is separated from the parents, the best thing you can do to the child is not to give him some money or some food or some shelter or clothes. The best thing is to deliver to his parents. They will take care of everything. They have all the resources and everything to take care of the child. One time you're giving and all this is not going to help. Mother needs child, father needs child, and the child needs the parents. So similarly, if we can take all the souls to Krishna and connect them, that is the highest thing. And that's what all these personalities are doing. So they may be a little different in terms of they are different people, they are jivas, they are uh, uh, empowered by the Lord, empowered. Practically all these are kind of Shakti avatars. In a sense, Vyasdev could be actually incarnation of the same Supreme Lord, Vishnu Tattva also at times. And then the point is, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of course, is Krishna himself. The point is that they are all one and the same in terms of their goal. Their goal is the same, and that is to bring everybody back home, back to Godhead. So that is the point. Mataji, does it answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Excuse me, at 9 o'clock, I'm going to leave because I got a message saying that Apple, my phone and my iPad will crash at 9. So before that, I'm going to leave and turn everything off. Okay? Sorry.
Okay, Mataji.
Krishna, yes, Mataji. So I just had a few points to share actually from this verse. There are different points that Prabhupada has made in this, looking at the translation itself. So first of all, they're speaking about Vyasdev. He can see past, present, and future, and through his transcendental vision, because of his spiritual sharpness, his intelligence, he could see everything. And he could see that how things would be degraded in this age of Kali. So the first paragraph is basically talking about how there is deterioration of everything. Even the power of material objects are deteriorating. So we are probably thinking we are making so much spiritual advancement, but here Prabhupada is talking about how much even matter such as land is not able to produce food grains in the same proportions as it did in the other ages. Cows are not able to give milk. Fruit vegetable production is much less than before, and there is no sumptuous nourishing food. Intelligence is meager, memory is short, and even dealings between You people are full of hypocrisy. So, so that is one point which is in this verse. The second point Prabhupada is actually discussing in the last paragraph is about the compassion of Vyasdev. This last sentence in this translation, thus he contemplated for the welfare of men in all statuses and orders of life. So the reason why he contemplated for the welfare of men, basically this entire last paragraph is speaking about Vyasdev's, you know, compassion for the unlucky souls in general. So in general here Prabhupada is saying that who are naturally, all transcendentalists who are naturally devotees of the Lord, they have a natural inclination to want to help, and they think about the welfare of others in general. So Prabhupada is comparing this, the natural inclination of devotees wanting to help, to so-called public leaders, and how they are unable to see, even because the lack of spiritual intelligence, they're not able to see what is even going to happen few minutes ahead. So because of this, there are so many diseases, like Mataji was speaking about hospital, and about how temples is like a hospital for the soul, where we can come, recuperate, get treated. So in this age of Kali, basically here Prabhupada is saying that it's disturbed by so many diseases, so many things that are unfavorable, inauspicious during this age. But here there are representatives of Srila Vyasdev, like Prabhupada himself, who selflessly were busy in trying to help everyone in all statuses and orders of life. So here Prabhupada is trying to explain the compassion of Srila Vyasdev, about how he was thinking about how to help everyone. His compassion is brought to light, and how that he falls in the parampara of all these other transcendentalists, such as Vyas, Narada, Madhava, Chaitanya, Rup, Saraswati, etc. So they are constantly thinking about the welfare of others and how they can help others go back home, back to Godhead. So different parts of the shloka is what I was thinking about too. All right. Any other thoughts anybody else wants to share?
Thank you,
We can-
Mataji, for sharing.
We can move on to the next verse. Any volunteers for 19th verse?
I can try, Mataji, if nobody's reading.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Chaturhotram karam shuddham
Chaturhotram karma shuddham
prajanam vikshya vedikam
prajanam vikshya vaidikam
vyadadhad yagna santyatयै
vyadadhad yajna santatyai
vedam ekam chaturvidham.
vedam ekam chaturvedam.
Translation. He saw that the sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas were means by which the people's occupations could be purified. And to simplify the process, he divided the one Veda into 4 in order to expand them among men. Okay, I can try to. Okay. Purport. Formerly, there was only the Veda of the name Yajur, and the 4 divisions of sacrifices were there specially mentioned. But to make them more easily performable, the Veda was divided into 4 divisions of sacrifice, just to purify the occupational service of the 4 orders above the 4 Vedas, namely Rigved, Yajur, Sam, and Athar. There are the Puranas, the Mahabharata, Samhitas, etc., which are known as the 5th Veda. Sri Vyasadeva and his many disciples were all historical personalities, and they were very kind and sympathetic toward the fallen souls of this age of Kali. As such, the Puranas and Mahabharata were made from related historical facts which explain the teaching of the 4 Vedas. There is no point in doubting the authority of the Puranas and Mahabharata as parts and parcels of the Vedas. In the Chandogya Upanishad 7.1.4, the Puranas and Mahabharata, generally known as histories, are mentioned in the 5th Veda. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, that is the way of ascertaining the receptive values of the revealed scriptures. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please explain. I think they're just considering it, telling here that they are generally 4 Vedas, and the 5th they're considering the Mahabharata and Samhitas, Puranas and Mahabharata. Explain, Mataji, please. Hare Krishna.
I can try, Mataji. My understanding is also very basic, but I can try and explain. I think Abhiram Gopal Prabhu has heard more lectures on this topic, so he can share more. But from what I understood, basically in this verse, the Vedas, it is explained that the Vedas is meant by for which all the different rituals, whatever is given in the Vedas, is basically supposed to help us purify our occupations. Whatever our dharma in life is, whatever different occupations we are all meant to do, all the different processes that are given in the Vedas are given so that we can purify our own occupations. So basically a lot of technical information is given in this purport. First of all, the Prabhupada is saying that formerly there was only one Veda called Yajur Veda, and and the 4 divisions of sacrifices were mentioned there. But later on, just to make it more accessible, the Veda was divided into 4, into Rig, Yajur, Samved, and Atharva Ved. And then the Puranas, Samhitas, and the Itihasas. Actually, His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu has a very nice lecture and flow chart in his lecture, which is explaining all of this. The Shrutis, Smritis, and actually I don't remember, very bad memory. And I have not reviewed this recently, so I don't remember it. But and Vyasdev, basically, because of his compassion, again, he wanted to, he basically wrote these Vedas trying to simplify facts, just so that people can purify their lives in Kali, age of Kali. So regarding the Puranas and Mahabharatas, they're also considered part of the Vedas. I think Abhiram Gopal Prabhu, if you remember that flow chart which was explained by Chaitanya Charan Prabhu or any other devotees, Natasha Mataji, Chaitanya Prabhu, Raksha Mataji, Rakshita Mataji, Natala Mataji, anybody can explain that chart as to how the Vedas are divided? That would be
Yeah,
very
Mataji, I
helpful.
remember in past, Prabhuji, we have actually, Natasha Mataji or I think Nirbhay Prabhu, I think Prabhuji also explained this, but we were more discussing about Shruti and Smriti because that was the confusion. So Shruti and Smriti, Raksha Mataji also explained with a very beautiful example. But then this flow chart, yeah, we did not as much as long as I remember, as much as I remember, that there is not much discussion on the chart, but we discussed a lot about Shruti and Smriti. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay. All right. Yes, Mataji, I don't know if I can pull something up. Anybody else also wants to explain as much as you remember? If not, we can move on and we can probably discuss again once we have reviewed this.
Hare Krishna, this is Abhidham Gopal Das. So what exactly is the question?
So
You both
basically,
already explained kind of what it is, but I didn't understand if there is a doubt going on.
do you recall that flow chart which was given by Chaitanya Charan Prabhu
Yeah, it is there
regarding...
in his first lecture of Isopnishad, I think. That's where you can find if they want
Yes.
to see the chart.
Okay. So maybe we can
There is any
review that
question.
separately. I can actually try and find that and I can send a picture so we can all, kind of understand how the Vedas are divided
Yeah, that'll be
as
very
well.
nice, actually.
Yeah.
yes, Mataji, that would be, yeah. One day we can just have a class about these.
Yeah. Or I
And
can
this,
share the picture itself also. We
okay,
can all
Mataji.
do it. Yeah. Okay. Move on. Or should we end? Any thoughts as to what devotees want to do?
I want to share one thing, Mataji, like seeing here, reading about Vyasadeva, how he was, after this Veda, he tried to do this more in, easier way so that people can understand. And we see in this Kali Yuga how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just said, make it so easier not to read and not to do any other sacrifice if not possible, just to where you are, chant the name. And in Kali Yuga, that also seemed very, very difficult. I mean, they are just giving us so many easy options so that we can understand and understand our real position. But we are so materially engaged and involved into things that sparing time for mala also sometimes we see or we feel it's not able to do it. And sometimes if you do, your mind is still hankering or about after so many things or thinking about in all directions but not in the mala. So all these great souls are doing so much work to make the work so easier for us. But yeah, effort from our side, especially sometime I feel myself is actually so less. And I'm so, yeah,
Yes, Mataji, that's a very good point, and actually that is very applicable for. Actually, I can only speak for myself because the only way we can show our gratitude is by being more and more, uh, you know, uh, absorbed and trying and increasing our attraction to the message. Otherwise, yes, you're right. Prabhupada
we
has worked so
recently
hard. Yes, Mataji, please.
वेरी ट्रू. अभी रिसेंटली एक लेक्चर सुन रही थी जब मैं उसमें प्रभु जी बोल रहे थे कि जो कृष्ण भगवान है उन्होंने जो ये मटेरियल वर्ल्ड बनाया वो इसीलिए बनाया कि कुछ मटेरियल जो सोल्स हैं उनको वापस आना एंजॉय करना है. भगवान नहीं चाहते ऐसा हो, लेकिन हम इतना फोर्स कर देते हैं कि भगवान जैसे पेरेंट बच्चे कई बार करते हैं ना कि उनको कुछ चाहिए होता है लेकिन पेरेंट्स मना करते रहते हैं कि नहीं नहीं हमें चाहिए. तो वो आखिरी में हार मान के कहते हैं चलो तुम कर लो. बट वो उसके साथ साथ कितनी ऑप्शंस देते हैं. कभी कॉल करते हैं, बोलते हैं अच्छा ठीक है अब बंद कर दो, बहुत हो गया, वापस कर लो, ये मत करो. ऐसे ही भगवान अपने जो भी पार्षद हैं उनको भेजते हैं हमें हर एज में रियलाइज कराने के लिए कि अब बंद कर दो, वापस आ जाओ. लेकिन हम लोग इतने कंडीशन और इतने स्टबन है कि कोई हमारे सर पे 10 बार भी बोले, कान में भी बोलता रहे तो भी समझ ही नहीं आ रहा, आता ही नहीं. So ये मटेरियल वर्ल्ड भगवान ने अपनी मर्जी से नहीं बनाया, ये हम लोगों की डिमांड से बनाया है, क्योंकि हम रहना ही नहीं चाहते अपने घर में. We want to just run away from our real parent, or that is why there's so much suffering. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. You put it so wonderfully. That is so true. Any other thoughts or realizations before we end?
Hare Krishna. So I just wanted to say one thing here. The Isopnishad first lecture which I talked about for Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, that will have the discussion about the Shrutis, Smritis and the different aspects of Vedic knowledge. I'm not too sure if that has the whole flow chart which you're talking about. It may. I'm not
Hare
100%.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Somebody is saying something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I was saying you can find it in the second lecture of the Upanishad. They have a flow chart written very well. The discussion of Shruti
Okay,
Smriti
thank you.
is most likely in the first lecture, but the second one will have it, the chart.
Thank you. Thank you all the devotees for sharing so wonderfully. It was so nice to hear. I think we can conclude since it's now past 9. Is that all?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Okay, we can chant the closing prayer. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri Prabhupada
Jai.
ki jai.
Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna.